Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today's case takes us to Ticonderoga. I hope I said that right. Let me show you the map quickly before we dive into all the details. Please know that this content is for educational purposes only, and it could be triggering because this does involve the murder of a child, a 9-year-old girl who was from Canada. Okay, so if we look at the map, I'm sure we all know New York City, right? New York. But the state of New York, as we know, is rather large. And so if we go all the way here to Ticonderoga, that is where this case takes place. And up here at this pin, it's Montreal, Canada, which is where the victim in this case is from. Thank you so much to everyone who sent me this case. I must say, I don't know, it's been a long time since I've received that many emails to request one particular case. So many of you, hundreds of you, requested that I cover this, so here we are. Before I start, let me see what you guys said on the poll. If you're watching live with me, have you heard of this case before? 23% of you said yes, been following closely. 29% said yes, but haven't followed much. 42% said nope, never heard of it, and 6% said I'm not sure, remind me. Okay, I'll remind you. So this case started like this.
536 for Route 9, just south of Cowan Lake Road. Looking for a Toyota Prius. Or a Luciano subject. Bit of a language barrier. Thing is, 9-year-old daughter was possibly abducted in a white van what's south on the interstate. Would have occurred at the rest area southbound.
He told police 2 males put her into a white van and drove away. An Amber Alert was issued later, but after investigating, police said Frattolin's account wasn't true and that the alert was canceled. Police suspected that the Frattolins visited Ticonderoga on their trip. Authorities say they found Melina's body under a log in a pond near Eagle Lake.
The investigation has determined sometime after Melina's phone call with her mother and before Monsieur Frattolin's 911 call, he allegedly murdered Melina and left her body in a remote area where she was later discovered by law enforcement.
Okay, so if you didn't understand all of that, don't worry. We're going to do a full presentation now with the timeline and everything. But basically, a 9-year-old girl went on a daddy-daughter trip, a vacation. And he is accused of murdering her on the last day of their trip. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness, what a case. So, trigger warning, right? Please like and share so others know that we are live right now and they can follow this case with us. Okay, so Melina Galanis is her middle name. I want to say it right. Wait. I want to say Frattolin, but it's Frattolin is I think how they're saying it. Frattolin was born on March 31st of 2016. 9 years old. Now, she was described by family and friends as bright, artistic, and full of energy. Her parents have been estranged since 2019, and she lived with her mother full-time in Montreal, Canada. So on the pictures on the top left, it says, How I Met Your Mother. Now, I don't know if one of those ladies is the mom, but the dad is the guy in the middle there, and he posted that on his Instagram, which is now taken down, Facebook down, website down, everything's been taken down, right? And on the right-hand side, you can see a picture of beautiful Melina. Shame, there it says, first time on a horse, and it says pony, just the caption there. Susan, thank you for your sticker. You said it's always a white van when they are lying, right? Until it isn't. Imagine if it is actually a white van. That sucks that people are making up stories here, but we're going to get to that now, okay? So, let's get to the timeline. Firstly, her dad, Luciano Frattolin, 45 years old, was an entrepreneur and founder of Gambela Coffee. Now, I just want to quickly check my notes here because I wrote something for you. Gambela is the Ethiopian region of his birth. So that's why he named his company Gambela Coffee. Okay, so he was the founder of Gambela Coffee, and he described Melina as the light of his life on his website and his inspiration for creating a more equitable world. How do you allegedly kill the light of your life, your own daughter? Like, what is going on here? This case is very, very difficult to really, if you just really think of how horrifying this is. Oh, man. Okay, so he had a dual Ethiopian-Italian citizenship. So I believe his mother was Ethiopian and his dad Italian. And they had a coffee plantation in Ethiopia, which is also what inspired him to start his business. Anyway, and he had a Canadian visa. And despite being estranged from Melina's mother, she allowed him to travel with their daughter, as there were no prior concerns about his behavior. So I don't know if there was an official custody agreement or if she had full custody, but she allowed him to sometimes travel with her, but she said there were no concerns. Now, they haven't named the mom publicly, the grieving mom. The only thing I could find was this one image, which is this one. This one image posted on Facebook says, Luciano Frattolin charged with the murder for allegedly killing his 9-year-old daughter, Melina Frattolin, and leaving her dead. Her mother came from her home in Montreal, Canada, to identify her daughter's body today. That's the only thing I could find on her mom in that picture, right? Okay, so back to our timeline. So, I mean, look at the pictures as well. Even there, I mean, showing her the water and now accused of drowning her. So on July 11th of 2025, Melina and her dad visited the United States for a vacation. I don't know who wants clarification. I just see on all the articles, they're like legally entered the United States. Okay. They legally entered. They were on a vacation to the United States from Canada. And it was a planned dad and daughter trip that they had looked forward to. And they'd been on other trips before. They went to New York and Connecticut and were expected to return to Montreal on July 19th or 20th, after which Melina would be returned to her mother's custody. So there's a couple of clues here, I think, if we were to speculate motive after the whole conversation and the timeline, because I don't know, if he just thought, you know what, nope, I'm not going to lose you. That's it. It ends right here with this beautiful memory of this holiday. I don't know. KT said, this is so sad, this poor child. Glad to catch alive. Thank you so much for being here. And I also hope that Melina gets the justice that she deserves. But just like, look at these pictures. Look at how he's hugging her. And there's so many beautiful pictures of Melina with her dad. And this trip just turned into a nightmare. So on July 19th of 2025 at 5:30 p.m., surveillance footage captured Luciano and Melina at a restaurant, apparently McDonald's. They say it's undisclosed, but I heard on one clip somebody said McDonald's, so maybe. In Saratoga Springs, New York, approximately 30 miles from Lake George. So there, she was alive, she was well, she was eating a meal with her dad, and at 6:30 p.m., she spoke with her mother via the phone. She stated that she and her father were on their way back to Montreal. She was so excited to see her mom, like, we'll be back soon, you know. I would assume a great holiday. She appeared to be in good health and showed no signs of distress. Between 7:40 p.m. and 9:12 p.m., authorities believe that Luciano murdered Melina. Now, what's come out since the press conference that we'll watch together is that she died. The autopsy results said, the preliminary autopsy results said, she died from asphyxia by drowning. And her body was found in a shallow area of a pond, and there was a log placed over her. So at 9:58 p.m., Luciano called Warren County 911, reporting Melina missing and claiming a possible abduction near exit 22 of Interstate 87, the I-87, in Lake George, New York. He initially stated that he stopped to urinate in a wooded area and then he returned to find Melina gone. He later claimed that 2 unknown males forced her into a white van. There's actually a witness that spoke to Law and Crime. I'm going to show you that clip as well. That says she believes she saw him. She saw him, and she said her husband saw the little girl as well getting into the vehicle in that area, and she just remembered him because he was looking so sus. Like, he had looked angry, but he also looked scared, and he was like running up a hill in the woods, and she was thinking, what is he doing? And she said the reason she's speaking to the media, even though she doesn't want to, she doesn't want to be on camera and all that, she's speaking to the media because she wants to tell everyone, trust your gut, because she had such a bad feeling about it, right? On July 20th of 2025 at 1:29 a.m., an Amber Alert was issued for Melina because of what her dad said, right? Describing her as being in imminent danger based on Luciano's abduction claim. So he claimed that 2 unknown men forced her into a white van while he was off in the woods having a pee. Okay, he's like, I went out there, I was urinating, and then Melina was gone. Then I saw a white van leaving, and it was two men that forced her into this van. Complete fabrication, according to the police. So the Amber Alert went out 9 years old. I think this is also why a lot of you had sent me this at the time, right? I mean, we were covering so many things. I've been trying to get to it until today is the first time I can. But the Amber Alert went out, 9 years old, last seen wearing shorts, blue and white shirt, white sneakers, heading south on the I-87, and they gave contact information. The investigation, initially led by the Warren County Sheriff's Office, involved multiple agencies, including the New York State Police, Essex County Sheriff's Office, Ticonderoga Police Department, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, the NYSP K9 and aviation units and forest rangers. Everybody was incredibly worried, right? I just want to show you, I'm going to show you that in a moment. So out goes the Amber Alert, everybody's panicking, everybody's sharing, and then at 1:50 p.m. the NYSP forest rangers located Melina's body in the shallow portion of a pond near Eagle Lake in Ticonderoga, New York, approximately 30 to 50 miles north of Lake George. Her body was hidden under a log in a waterway. The Amber Alert was cancelled after authorities determined there was no evidence of an abduction. Luciano's account was found to have inconsistencies based on surveillance footage, witness statements, and other evidence, cell phone evidence too. They haven't said exactly how they knew to go to that area, but probably cell phone pings, witnesses seeing the car there, right? And other evidence leading police to conclude that the abduction story was fabricated. So if I show you, wait, maybe I must first show you the map. Hold on one second. Okay, so we'll look at this map here quickly. So they went to Connecticut, they went to New York, they spent some time in New York City, had a great vacation by the sounds of it. You know, imagine going to Central Park, to the Central Park Zoo, to all the great places that 9-year-old Melina would have enjoyed. And then traveling northward. Okay, we're gonna go quite far up here north. Let's just keep going. I mean, it's a long drive here. All the way home would be, well, it's not that bad. 7 hours, 17 minutes to get home. And so going to this area, Ticonderoga, when I show you next that the police are asking anyone with information if you spotted a Toyota Prius, 2024 gray Toyota Prius, it's on this road here, okay? So if you see here, it says Shroon Lake, and here is Eagle Lake. And they found Melina's body somewhere here around Eagle Lake. Shame. With a log over her. Oh my goodness. And she had been drowned. And there's another witness that apparently said that they saw Melina and her dad in this area the day before. If that's so, and if they can prove that, I don't know if there's any trail cams in here, or if anyone's got dash cam or anything like that. If there's any way to prove that, whoa, that'll prove some major premeditation, right? Okay, so this is the area where Melina's body was found, and I mean, they were on their way home. So if you just look there, there's still a little way to go, but I mean, she called her mom from Saratoga Springs at the restaurant and saying, okay, I'll see you soon, we're on our way home. So it was just this bit to still go home, right? Okay, so this is the area now from the ground.
Frattolin of Canada was reported missing out of Lake George last night. An Amber Alert reported she was last seen in a white van heading south. Troopers say the child was found dead this afternoon in Ticonderoga, about 40 miles north of Lake George. At this time, state police say there is no indication there was an abduction and there is no threat to the public. An investigation is ongoing and we're expected to learn more on Monday.
Okay, so just one more time, if we look at that area, this is the area where her body was found. I mean, locals describe it as a really beautiful area with lots of hiking trails. But just to think of finding a 9-year-old girl's body there in the pond, oh my goodness. Shame. Everybody was looking for her. The underwear taker? Are you sure? Thank you so much for your sticker. I really appreciate that. Okay, so now what I'd like to show you is we're going to look at the press conference together, where they gave us some details, but at that point, the preliminary autopsy had not yet been completed, and now it has. So we've got more information since then. So July 21st of 2025, Luciano Frattolin was arrested, and he was charged with second-degree murder and concealment of a human corpse. Now, second-degree murder in New York requires proof of intent to kill, and prosecutors must establish premeditation for a conviction. To get a first-degree murder charge, there has to be aggravating factors, like they say the victim needs to be a police officer or a judge, or there's lots of aggravating factors. I was going down a rabbit hole with that of like, why is it not first degree? But okay, second degree sounds pretty high up in New York to me. Southern Calibre said, a mother's nightmare. And you said 11 proud Grizzly months. Thank you so much for your support. And yes, a mother's nightmare. Shame. So the last time she would have seen her daughter would have been around July 10th or so, because Melina left with her dad for this vacation on July 11th. So here's a picture of Melina with her dad as well. He captioned that she finally started saying thank you with a kiss. It took her 7 years. There's his mugshot. The mask is off there. He's innocent till proven guilty, but you know what I mean. He was arraigned at Ticonderoga Town Court, where a not guilty plea was entered on his behalf. He was held at Essex County Jail without bail. So apparently he's going to be prosecuted in New York. So on July 22nd of 2025, preliminary autopsy results conducted by forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Sikirika at Glens Falls Hospital revealed that Melina died of asphyxia due to drowning, and her death was ruled a homicide. NYSP released images of the 2024 gray Toyota Prius used by Luciano and Melina seeking public assistance. So still, to this day, public assistance is being sought. So if you were in that area that I just showed you on the map as well, because they say it would be this 2024 gray Toyota Prius used by Luciano and Melina seeking public assistance for video footage or eyewitness accounts of the vehicle along I-87 between exits 20 and 28, North Shroon Lake to Lake Georgia on the evening of July 19th. So that again, if we go to this area, if you put Ticonderoga on the map and you go to Lake Shroon, or Shroon Lake, sorry, Shroon Lake here, it's on this I-87 between those 2 points that they're looking for information, seeking the public's assistance. Do you have dash cam footage, video footage? Did you take a video? Did you see something? Did you see something and not yet say something? Then they would like to hear from you. The number is on my presentation. It's also in the description box, and I'm sure if you read any articles that I'm linking for you, I'll always link all my sources, then you will find it there as well, right? Thank you so much, Justine. Rob said justice for Melina Frattolin. Yes, I mean, how absolutely scary as well for her to think, oh cool, we're going on a hike, you know, and then the next minute your dad, allegedly he, is drowning you after a holiday like that, a vacation, like what? Okay. So here's pictures of the Prius that the police have shared since their press conference saying, right, now that we've arrested this guy, this is what we're looking for, right? So police are urging anyone who saw the Prius to contact authorities by calling the number on the screen or emailing crimetip@troopers.newyork.gov. They said they were specifically looking for people who may have come across the car driving in the areas of the I-87 North between exits 28 and 20 on the evening of July 19th of 2025. So the date is also very specific. It helps narrow it down, right? Okay, so Scott H said murder 2 in New York is the equivalent of murder 1 everywhere else. That's also what I was reading, and Kerry said in New York second degree is their first degree, right? That's what I was trying to relay. I'm like, oh, second degree in New York, it's pretty up there. It's all the way up there, right? Okay, so there's the numbers if you want to screenshot it and share it or something, or you know, it's in the description box. As I said, if you're watching, maybe you're local, maybe you were traveling there, maybe you were just also on vacation and you saw something. And so on July 25th of 2025, which was actually yesterday, we're live right now on July 26th of 2025, a scheduled felony hearing for Luciano at Ticonderoga Town Court was cancelled. And the case has now been moved to a grand jury to assess whether there's probable cause for the charges to proceed to trial. So before we get into what evidence do they have so far, I would now like to show you the press conference that happened on July 21st of 2025. Let me just quickly boost it for us. Hold on a second. Okay. Here we go.
Good morning. My name is Robert McConnell, and I'm the BCI captain for the New York State Police in Troop J. I would like to thank members of the media for being with us today. I'm joined to the podium by Zone Commander, Captain Gary Denise, Assistant BCI Commander of Troop G, Lieutenant Andrew Cornell, Acting Director of Forest Protection, Dave Patcher, Deputy Commissioner Matthew Franklin, Acting Colonel Brian Gillis, Captain Scott Daly from the Department of Environmental Conservation of Public Protection. The New York State Police and our partners is currently investigating the homicide of Melina Frattolin. I want to remind everyone that this is an ongoing investigation, and this information is preliminary and subject to change. On Saturday, July 19th, 2025, at approximately 10 o'clock p.m., Warren County 911 received a call from a man reporting his 9-year-old daughter missing with a possible abduction in the area of exit 22 of I-87 Northway in Lake George. The child was identified as Melina Frattolin, age 9, and the caller as her father, Luciano Frattolin, age 45. The New York State Police and Warren County Sheriff's Office immediately responded to the area of exit 22 of the Northway and initiated investigation and attempt to locate Melina. On Sunday, July 20th, a search detail comprised of officers from multiple agencies conducted an organized search in the town of Ticonderoga, New York. In an area Mr. Frattolin was suspected of having visited. During that search detail, at approximately 10:50, members of the New York State Police Forest Rangers located Melina deceased in the shallow portion of a pond. This investigation has revealed that on July 11th, 2025, Mr. Frattolin and Melina, both residents of Montreal, Quebec, legally entered the United States for the purpose of a vacation. They were expected to return to Canada on Sunday, July 20th, at which time Melina would be returned to the custody of her mother in Montreal. The mother and Mr. Frattolin have been estranged since 2019. The child resided full-time with her mother, and Frattolin visited with the child when in Canada. At about 5:30 p.m. on July 20th, Melina is observed with her father on video surveillance in Saratoga Springs, New York. At about 6:30 p.m., she spoke to her mother on the phone and told her she and her father were en route back to Canada. The child appeared to be in good health and did not indicate she was under any duress. The investigation has determined sometime after Melina's phone call with her mother and before Mr. Frattolin's 911 call, he allegedly murdered Melina and left her body in a remote area where she was later discovered by law enforcement. Initial reports from Mr. Frattolin of a suspicious white van in the area of the alleged disappearance was proven to be untrue. The suspect has been charged with murder in the second degree and concealment of a human corpse. He was then transported to the Essex County Correctional Facility where he was held pending arraignment. The suspect is scheduled to be at Ticonderoga Town Court this morning for arraignment. Melina's cause of death is pending the results of an autopsy, which is scheduled for later today. This is certainly a difficult case and a heartbreaking investigation. On behalf of the New York State Police and our law enforcement partners, I want to offer our condolences to the family of Melina. I would additionally like to thank our partners with the Warren County Sheriff's Office, Essex County Sheriff's Office, Warren County District Attorney, Essex County District Attorney, the Montreal Police Department, Department of Environmental Conservation, the Ticonderoga Police Department, and the FBI for their assistance in this investigation. If any member of the public has information regarding the death of Melina Frattolin, I encourage them to contact the New York State Police at area code 518-783-3211. I will now answer a limited number of questions. I ask for your patience as due to the active nature of this ongoing investigation, I am limited with respect to how much we can release at this time.
Do we know a motive?
The motive is still under investigation.
What led you to believe that, what was the first sign that there were inconsistencies in the story?
Yes, so the suspect's initial account is that he had pulled over in the area of exit 22 in Lake George, pulled over into a parking lot to urinate. His initial report is he steps away to a wooded area, returns to the vehicle, and at that point, his child is gone from the vehicle. He reports a suspicious white van fleeing the scene southbound. During a subsequent interview, he then reports two unknown males forced her into a white van. That lead was thoroughly investigated and disproven.
Like, what the hell? This guy, he called 911 also from around that area, that Lake George area. And the dad, and like, oh my goodness, I went off into the woods and I just went to urinate. And then the next minute, it's a white van, two unknown men just abducting my daughter. You know, we've seen quite a few cases with stories like this, like really, it can happen. But you know, when it's disproven, isn't that just, it just makes one so angry. What a waste of resources. The Amber Alert went out. Everybody was looking for her. And according to the police, the dad was lying about all of it, which is why he was swiftly arrested. I must say, I take my hat off to all these investigators. If you looked at the timeline that we just went over, it happened very quickly. Everything happened really quickly. Even Melina being found, and then the dad being arrested, and just everything from there. I mean, it's only July 26th today, and this happened on July 19th, and so much has happened since then, right? Garden Girl said last seen wearing outfit looks like the selfie she took in the car may have just been before he did this. I got this Amber Alert that night in Saratoga. Such a terrible feeling, wishing you could help. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that must be a terrible feeling as well, thinking what can we do, right? If anyone's watching and you were around that area on July 19th, you can do something. You can call police if you saw anything, saw a suspicious man, vehicle, the 2024 Toyota Prius that they said was gray in color. All the details are also in the description box for you. That could also be helpful.
Do we know the cause of death yet?
The cause of death is pending the results of the autopsy, which is scheduled for today. Go ahead. We have no information that there's any issues with mental health, no.
And you say that he was estranged from his wife. Do you know if he was authorized to travel alone with his daughter?
He was.
Does Mr. Frattolin have any criminal record in the U.S. or Canada that you're aware of?
He has no criminal history. He has no domestic violence history either.
How cooperative was Luciano in the discovery of her body?
I cannot provide any information with regard to that at this point.
How will it work since they're both Canadian citizens? How will you try?
I don't want to speak to the prosecution, but he'll be charged and prosecuted in New York State.
What led you to Ticonderoga?
I don't want to divulge too much with respect to law enforcement technology or the tools we use, just to say that we focus our search area at Ticonderoga based on inconsistencies in his initial account, as well as some technology available to law enforcement.
Where did the 911 call emanate from?
The suspect.
No, geographically. Where was
Warren
it?
County.
Okay. Was it in Lake George, though, or was it?
It was the area of Lake George, correct, in the area of exit 22.
Forgive me if this was already covered. What are the charges?
Murder in the second degree and concealment of the human corpse.
In terms of the Amber Alerts, I know there's been reports of some people getting it, some not. Can you just tell us what the process was in issuing the Amber Alerts and what time?
I don't have the time in front of me, but I can tell you just any time an Amber Alert is issued, there's a balance between providing prompt information to the public, but also ensuring that information is accurate and reliable. We don't want to numb the public with unvetted alerts. So in this case, it was difficult to confirm some of the initial information provided by the suspect.
Do we know what reason they were visiting the U.S. where they were supposed to be?
It was just a vacation. It was a planned vacation. They visited a couple locations in Connecticut as well as New York. They were most recently in New York City.
You said surveillance was in Saratoga Springs. Was that the last piece of surveillance you received, or was there anything more to that?
That's correct.
Could you just go over the timeline one more time?
I do not have the timeline in front of me.
What was the surveillance? Where was that? Was that a business? Or?
It was at a restaurant.
Do you know about how many officers were devoted to this search?
I can't give you a number. It would be measured in the dozens. The Warren County Sheriff's Office sent every resource available to investigate this right at its inception. Same with the New York State Police. We had us in conjunction with the law enforcement partners. We had aviation, drones, K-9, investigators, uniformed troopers. Every resource we had to bear, we applied in this investigation.
Where will the arraignment be held today, and do you have a time?
I don't have a time. It's scheduled for today in town of Ticonderoga Court.
Just to clarify, you said the body was found in shallow water?
In the shallow portion of a pond in a remote area. That's correct.
What area was that?
We're not divulging the location at this point.
Did it appear that he had tried to conceal the body?
Yes.
How do you think the response was? You had a multi-agency search in a very short period of time. How did that work for you? How do you think that went?
Public safety is always our number one priority. While these cases are very rare, they are incredibly tragic. And I just want to ensure the public that the New York State Police and our law enforcement partners will always utilize all available resources to apprehend any offenders that endanger children.
Can you talk at all about how difficult this case was involving a 9-year-old girl?
It was very difficult. It's very emotional. I was at the command post when we received notification that she was deceased. It was very difficult and emotional. At that point, though, the best we could do is provide some measure of justice to the family, and we are just fortunate we're able to do that in this case.
Almost done with the press conference.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
After Luciano made the 911 call, did he stay under any sort of observation by police? Was he, I guess, in sort of some sort of police presence up until his arrest?
Yes, he reported this. He fabricated the initial report of the abduction, and he was in the custody of police from that point on.
Take one more question, guys.
Can you say that the mother, I'm sorry, did you say if the mother had any concerns about the safety of her daughter while she was with him?
She had no concerns for her daughter's safety while she was with him. She knew that he was taking her on this trip to the States. Law enforcement was in contact with her, as well as Montreal PD, during the course of the investigation. Thank you.
Guys so much.
Oh my goodness. I mean, imagine the mom saying goodbye to a little girl, being like, enjoy your trip. It's going to be so exciting. You're going to New York. I mean, they went to Connecticut as well. And then you never see her again. It reminds me of Travis Decker picking up his 3 daughters. Remember that case? There's still a manhunt for him. Or Dr. Neha Gupta. Remember that one that we recently looked at as well? Yeah, so what evidence do they have so far? Luciano's inconsistent statements, timeline, physical evidence, surveillance footage, phone records, witness statements, no sign of a white van or forced entry or struggle, so lying, and then all the forensic evidence to debunk that, which I'm sure is still the defense. We can hear it now already, right? Not that this camera is in the courtroom in New York, but the defense will be like, well, it could have been a white van. Could have been anyone. They're going to have to... They're still busy with their autopsy and toxicology reports, right? So Melina's full toxicology and autopsy results are still pending, but her death has been ruled a homicide. And it doesn't look good for the dad making up stories like that, of course. Her body was found in a shallow pond in a remote wooded area near Ticonderoga, hidden under a log, suggesting an attempt to conceal the crime. I wonder, I've seen it speculated, what else was he concealing? Meaning, why water? Some people have speculated maybe there was grooming, sexual abuse, all that going on. That's pure speculation. I have no idea, because everybody's trying to come up with the reason for what is the motive. So what is it? We don't know what it is, but they said, I've linked all my sources below. This is a screenshot from one of the articles, of which there are many saying this. Details of Frattolin's financial situation began to surface on Monday. He owes more than $150,000 to Scotiabank, according to 2 separate court cases. The bank alleges that he entered into credit agreements between 2023 and 2024 related to his business, Gambella Coffee. A friend of his was interviewed and said that Luciano loved Melina but struggled with the responsibilities of parenthood, feeling tied down. Okay. Frattolin is also seeking more than $115,000 in damages from business partners whom he says he entrusted to run an Airbnb on Bernard Street in Montreal in 2022, according to court documents. On Monday, police said the investigation had not yet uncovered a possible motive for the alleged murder. It could be a case of saying Melina is the light of my life and realizing I can't pay child support and I'm going to lose my child. And we've seen this happen in custody cases, that they say, if I can't have you, no one will. Could be something like that. It could be something far more sinister. It could be life insurance. It could be a financial gain thing. Somebody said earlier, Susie Q said he told police he has no money, he can't afford to pay for an attorney, he is $200,000 in debt and lost his apartment, owing $26,000 in rent. Does he have a huge life insurance policy on her? Just a thought. Susie Q, could be. It really could be, right? Is that not what I just said? I've been working on it. Ticonderoga. That's what I said, right? Did I say it right? Do I get a pat on the back? Because I've been practicing. Okay, I'm trying to say it like a look. Ticonderoga. Locals call it Thai. Yeah. As Luciano and Melina were Canadian residents, Canadian authorities, including the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the RCMP, are collaborating with U.S. officials. Canada may pursue separate charges related to custody violations, though no such charges have been confirmed. Shame, just look at her. I do not know what her favorite color is. I saw someone ask earlier, but I do see she wears a lot of pink. So I don't know if pink is her favorite color. Maybe we'll find out at some point. The Ticonderoga and Schroon Lake communities are deeply affected, holding vigils to honor Melina's memory. Organizer Bridget Cruz emphasized the need for closure, stating, if this is where her sweet soul was found, then this is her soul's resting place. New York State Police Captain Robert McConnell called the case a difficult and heartbreaking investigation, offering condolences to Melina's family. And New York Governor Kathy Hochul expressed grief on X, describing the news as heartbreaking. I mean, I'm so terrified to think of what Melina went through in her last moments. Like, what an absolute betrayal of trust. Allegedly, her own dad taking her to a beautiful trail and drowning her. That's the accusation, right? He's innocent until proven guilty, but that's what they accuse him of. So this is just raw footage of him leaving, I think, the courthouse after he was arrested.
Mr. Frattolin, do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to say about these charges? Mr. Frattolin, any comments? Any comments at this time?
Shakes his head. Oh my word. So there he goes. Ellie B from Tennessee said, would we be able to watch the trial? No, he's going to be prosecuted in New York, and they don't have cameras in the courtroom. Thank you so much for your sticker. Okay, we've got a few more clips to look at. This one was interesting. They said a hotel owner says he found a possible critical piece of evidence. Oh my word, okay.
It was the morning after 9-year-old Melina Frattolin was reported missing by her father. A Lake George hotel employee notices something strange in their flower bed.
They found a tablet in that flower bed. 7:30 in the morning, people dump stuff all over the place on a Saturday night in Lake George, so no one really thought much about it, and she hadn't known about the Amber Alert at that point.
It was right here in this corner part of this flower bed where the owner of this hotel said the tablet was found, and it stood out because it's not the kind of thing you typically see lying on the ground. And given its position near the road here, he says it's easy to imagine someone tossing it out a moving car. What's more is that this is the area where police say her father reported her missing.
She plugged in the tablet, and the first photograph looked very much like the missing girl. At the time she was missing. We didn't know that she was deceased. So I ran over to the hotel. We looked at a couple other pictures, and it looked shockingly similar to the little girl they were looking for.
Rob Gregor was floored, shocked that they may have just stumbled across a key piece of evidence.
So we called law enforcement. The Warren County Sheriff arrived. So he called in another investigator from Warren County, who then called in the state police. They were in our office and went through the tablet, and they took it into evidence.
Newly released autopsy results confirm she died from asphyxia due to drowning. The manner of death, homicide. Police say digital clues helped lead them to Ticonderoga, where Melina's body was found. Now state police are asking for the public's help, wanting to hear from anyone who may have seen the father's vehicle, a 2024 gray Toyota Prius, between July 11th and July 19th, particularly along the northway between exits 28 and 20 the night she was killed. I reached out to state police to confirm whether they believe the tablet belongs to Melina, but I haven't yet heard back. As for a motive,
sure, that would be interesting if it did.
That's still under investigation.
Yeah, they don't know. They haven't said the motive. They don't know the motive yet. Now, here is another clip about his financial situation and his website, this Gambela coffee that is now defunct, they said.
Frattolin is now facing charges of second-degree murder and the concealment of a human corpse. Now, on the website of a Montreal-based coffee company said to be founded by him, a post says he was met with an unfortunate event that severely affected his well-being in 2019. It added,
interesting. an unfortunate event that severely affected his mental well-being in 2019 that matches the same year that he became estranged from his wife, Melina's mother, right?
His daughter Melina is the light of his life and the inspiration for everything. Now, the motive for Melina's murder remains unknown. It is still under investigation.
Okay, so we've got that as well. So we know that he had some financial struggles as well. Now I want to quickly show you this clip here from, let me just quickly see. Let's go like this. A witness who thinks she saw him there that night as they were going out to dinner. Okay, so here we go. Let's listen to from here, from Law and Crime.
7 p.m., the night of Melina's murder. Here's our conversation. Becky, what did you see the other night?
We left high at like 7:34 p.m. and we headed up Chilton because we were going out to the Timberwolf for karaoke and dinner. And when we crested the top of Chilton, there's a road called Putnam Pond.
My bad. It was a little fast. I was listening to it a little bit fast. Okay, sorry about that.
Road, and it was almost next to it, but just past it, with a car facing towards Ty. And the car I knew was a Toyota Prius. I knew it was. I knew it was a Toyota. So to be honest, I sat at the bar that we were eating at, and I looked up all the Toyota cars until I found one that looked like the car I saw. But we'll go back, because when I was driving by, the reason that it caught my eye was because I saw a man running up the bank. There's a small wooded area. So you, when you go past the Putnam Pond Road, there's like this little dip there. And then there's like a small wooded area. And a man was running up the hill, and he was sweaty, and we locked eyes, and he had on a dark blue shirt and jeans. And I really swore that the car was blue, but my husband, who was my passenger, said, no, the car was slate gray. And he also saw a little girl too. But I looked at him and I said, well, that was odd. And he's like, why is it odd? I'm like, well, there's a man that's got out of state plates. Why is he running up the hill from the woods? Like, that's weird. And he's like, maybe he was just taking a leak, like he's got a kid with him. Maybe they're on a vacation or something.
Shame. Sweet Lorraine, I'm just quickly pausing, says, any evidence of SA? We haven't heard any such evidence yet. There's only the preliminary autopsy that's been completed so far, which said that Melina died from asphyxiation by drowning. That's all we know so far. But I do see that speculated quite a bit as well as a potential motive.
Something, And I'm like, okay, whatever. I overthink things all the time. So we just kept going. But it still wasn't sitting right with me. And when we got there, we waited about 15 more minutes and my son showed up. And I had talked to him too about it because it still wasn't sitting right with me. He said that he saw a strange car up by Eagle Lake area that was just parked there. But he described it as like a Subaru car. He's not very good with cars, but it's whatever, neither here nor there. Then it just kept sitting with me wrong. So like while we're eating dinner, I'm sitting there looking at cars online.
We know this lady's a grizzly, right? Because she just, in her gut, is like, something isn't right there. And she's thinking, maybe just look up this car, just so that I know what car it is. Like, she's following her gut and saying, I don't know, man, that guy just gave me a bad feeling. Like, he's running up the hill, he's got out-of-state plates, he's, what is he doing? And then she locked eyes with him. She said he looked cold and angry, but also a bit fearful if you watch the whole interview, and she's done other interviews as well, right? So I'm showing you this because I do find this very interesting. She really could have seen him. And it reminds me almost of that guy, Thomas Karras, that saw Stefan Stones in Madeline Soto's case. But Stefan Stones had a flat tire, so he couldn't really change his location. In this case, what Becky here is saying is that he was facing northward, and where Melina's body was found, he would have had to turn around. So he did change his location. Maybe he thought, oh crap, now someone saw me. So now I'm going to have to, before I do what I'm going to do, allegedly, let me just go the other way around, if it's him. Okay, but let's listen to some more.
Until I found one, and I thought it was like a 2017 Toyota Prius or newer, and that is what I ended up reporting to the police. when we got home, it was like around, I'd say 1 a.m. and we got that alert. And my stomach was like instantly in knots. I remember telling my husband that I thought maybe this was related. And he was like, you need to stop overthinking and whatever. So later that day, I had to go to my sister-in-law's and my brothers to finish cleaning out from when they had passed away. And my niece got a message that said something was going on at Eagle Lake. And I instantly said to her, Michelle, they're looking for that little girl that's missing. And she's like, I was thinking that too. And because I had already told her about what I'd seen the night before. And so later that day, I waited until like 4:30 when we got home and we unloaded stuff from there. I called the police. I got dispatched. They kind of were in a rush to get me off the phone, but I understand now why. I didn't know that they had found her yet. I didn't know any of that. So I understand why he was getting me off the phone kind of quick, but nobody called me back on by Monday. So I called them in the morning, and
which again is amazing. She's like, nope, she's on it, not letting it go. They had to get off the phone quick, called them again the next day.
I spoke to an officer and he took my name, my number, my email address, and my address. And he asked me a couple of times about the Prius and what it looked like and what the man was wearing. And so that's the last time I talked to them.
Did you see Melina as well, or the little girl?
I didn't see her. My husband saw her, so that's what I was getting at. When he got home from work, I asked him what she was wearing and what she looked like, and he said, well, she was definitely dark complected, and she had brown hair, between 9 and 11 years old. He said he only seen the side of her because she was getting into the car, and she had on a white. He assumes it was white because it was very light colored, and you got to remember it's getting kind of dark at this point. Not completely dark, but we're going up a hill with sun in our eyes. And he said shorts on. That's all he could tell me. He doesn't do social media, not like the rest of the world.
So she was getting, because I'm just picturing this, you're passing this Prius on the side of the road and you see who we believe is Luciano, and he was with the girl, and I know your husband saw her, but his daughter was potentially going with him into the woods?
She was getting in the car. He was running up the bank from the woods. And when we locked eyes, I'm never going to forget his face. Never. When I saw him walk out of that.
And she said he was all sweaty as well, which is a bit of a red flag, right? Maybe they went hiking for a while. I don't know. But another witness saying that they saw him there with Melina the day before. They believe they saw Melina and her dad there at those trails the day before. And now, if so, then the next day acting all shady like that, running around up a hill, looking at people all, I don't know what to even describe that look as. Yeah, Rob says, if you see something, say something. Absolutely. Okay.
Courthouse, someone sent me a video and I said, oh my God, that is freaking him. Like, that is him. I will never forget his face. It was like a fear, but like a cold, angry look is all I can describe it as. And the feeling that I got, I'll never forget it. Never. Like, and I haven't slept yet and I am having trouble sleeping. I keep thinking, what if we stopped, because she'd still be alive probably if we stopped.
It's hard to second guess those moments. And you did call the police, and you let them know what you had seen. So I think it's hard to, I think all of us would second guess in that situation, but you would never expect, I know Ticonderoga, where you live, is not a place where this stuff typically happens. The area that police were searching and where unfortunately they found Melina's body, is that the area where you saw?
That's just Prius? Up the road from where? Just up the road.
What's
so
that
it's
area
about,
like?
Just up the road from where she believes she saw him and where her husband spotted a little girl getting into the car. She was reported, when the dad made up the Amber Alert stuff, the white van and the two men. Her dad said that she was a female with brown hair, wearing light-colored shorts, black and white striped shirt, and white Adidas sneakers. So that's what the dad reported, right? So that's interesting because her husband, this witness's husband, says he thinks that the girl was wearing shorts.
It's wooded. We hike it a lot. I've hiked it since I was a teenager. It's beautiful. I hate to say that, but it's beautiful. So there's houses. Where I saw them, there's houses. Where they found her, I'm not sure exactly where they found her. I just know it was somewhere just past Eagle Lake. There's no houses up there. It's just trails. It's just wilderness, beautiful wilderness.
And what time? And it was around, you were saying like 8 o'clock, between like 7 and 8, you might have seen.
We left high at 7:34 p.m. We left high. Like we started up Chilton Hill at 7:34.
Wow. And, you know, for you, you know, that moment that you lock eyes with him, and you know, it's because for us, like we've seen, you know, he's this guy on social media that looks like he's, you know, this all-American dad. And then you know, you see the video of him now that he's in custody. I mean, take us back to that moment you locked eyes, and just what about it was something that just didn't seem right?
As soon as I looked at him, I don't know. It was a feeling that I got inside of me. You know, as a mother, you get this, this instinct when something's not right or someone isn't right. It was an odd moment for me when I saw his face. He looked like, I guess scared, like maybe you got caught doing something you weren't supposed to do. I guess that's what I would describe that as, because my kids do it all the time to me. But also like this cold and angry look. I can't describe it into words.
Homework is to watch the rest of that clip. It's on Law and Crime on the case, right? I will link it below for you. There's only a few minutes left of that, but I do want to show you this as well, which is of a lady who's also amazing called Bridget Cruz, and she took it upon herself to say, no, this community, we stick together. If she died here, she's one of us now. And she organized a vigil for her, and many people showed up, and you can find clips of that on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere on social media. And here she explains why she chose to do that.
I just, in my heart, I just feel like it's something I have to do as a mother. It just really struck me hard, and I cried to my husband, and I just said, I can't really believe that this has happened here. And this morning when I woke up, it was like first thing, it was like, I feel like the right thing to do is honor this young girl's life in this beautiful community. We've all mourned a child that we don't even know. You know, a lot of us are parents, and when that happened, you can't imagine if thinking your child's being taken. A life taken too short needs to be remembered, and if this is going to be her eternal rest in place, then we're going to love her as her own and carry on her light. Regardless if you're from Ticonderoga or not, like, people will give you the shirt off their back, and if this little girl was in danger and would have asked for help, anybody would have stopped to help her, and we owe it to her.
Okay, so that is that clip. I will link everything for you so that you can go check it out yourself as well. But that's what we know so far. So as they said, Melina's full autopsy toxicology results are still pending. This case is now going to the grand jury to decide if there's enough probable cause to take this to trial, which I think there is, just based on what we've heard, right? And I just think this community is so amazing, between the witnesses, reporting things to the police, seeing something, saying something, and even if their loved ones are saying, don't overthink it, don't overreact, it's okay, don't worry, that gut feeling is just driving them. Like, nope, I'm calling the police today, I'm calling tomorrow, I'm checking on this case, I'm checking which car it is. I mean, I just think it's really, really amazing, right? So, but what an absolutely devastating story. I cannot imagine what Melina's mother is thinking and feeling right now, you know? To lose her daughter in this way is so terrible. And unfortunately here, we've seen cases like this, but each one is still unique. We don't know what the motive is here, and I will keep you posted. If you'd like me to, let me know in the comments so that we can follow and see, well, you know, what happens next and what is the motive. Why would someone do this? Why would a dad say, you know, she's the light of my life and the inspiration for everything, and then allegedly drown her? I mean, that is so scary as well. The amount of pictures I've seen when he's going swimming with her, like we saw those clips. and like showing her the ocean, showing her lakes, going to beautiful places, and then the accusations are that he drowned her? That's crazy, man. Oh my goodness. So thank you so much for being here with me today, for watching the press conference, for going over the timeline with me. In fact, I do want to say, I forgot one thing. Wait. There's a document. Thank you to Grizzly Cat for getting this for us. I want to show you the times, which was part of my presentation. Hold on one second, because it's important for what the witness said there. So they said Luciano Frattolin on the 19th day of July 2025 between the time of 7:40 p.m. and 9:12 p.m. in a wooded area off State Route 74, town of Ticonderoga, County of Essex, State of New York, did commit the offense of murder in the second degree. Look at the times there and think about what the witness said. I do think it's very likely that she saw him. And then here as well, he was charged with concealing of a human corpse. So those are the charges he's facing right now. So thank you to Grizzly Cat for obtaining that probable cause affidavit for us, which is difficult because it's the guys from Canada and the cases in New York, those documents are not easy to get. So thank you so much. You can buy her a coffee. The link's in the description box. My coffee link, the mod coffee link is all there. Thank you to all of you for supporting the work that I do and the team. And I will keep you posted. If you want me to, let me know, and I will see you again very soon. In the meantime, stay safe.